Good afternoon. My name is Jamie Waterfield. I'm your host for today's webinar focused on incorporating your brand in Microsoft 365. A few logistics before we get started. Today's webinar is a Teams live event, so that means that attendees are muted, but you can interact via the Q&A, and we certainly encourage you to do so. Michael Dupree is our moderator today. He will either respond to questions in the Q&A window or he'll promote them to our presenters to respond live before the conclusion of our webinar. If you have to drop, don't worry, we will get to your questions after the event if you were unable to stay on for those to be answered. This webinar is being recorded and it will be posted to YouTube. We'll send out a link, should take just a couple days, should you want to revisit any of the content or share it with any of your peers. So with that, let's go ahead and move on in. My name is Jamie Waterfield, as I mentioned, Vice President, Sales and Marketing for Apex Digital Solutions. Thrilled to have with me today our Digital Marketing Specialist, Nicholas Postema. Before we go into the topic of the day, I'd just like to provide a quick overview of Apex Digital Solutions for those of you possibly joining us for the first time. We've been serving the Metro Detroit area for over 20 years with the purpose of empowering people to make a positive difference in the lives of others. That's truly a mantra that we live by day in and day out through the professional and managed services around a broad portfolio of Microsoft solutions. We're also a reseller for Microsoft licensing and hardware. We've served over 350 customers and delivered over 450 cloud deployments, but most of all, we're proud of our high customer standards. So our NPS scores are consistently above 80, with 70 being world-class, and our customer sat ratings frequently exceed 99.8%. All right, so today, Nick is going to show us examples of branding in Microsoft 365 and share some of the best practices and lessons learned to achieve the desired outcomes. And that's from our experience of doing this both internally and for our customers. So lots of good tips in there. But before we get to Nick, I want to just discuss why branding even matters. I know that this is something that when we were thinking about the topic, we're like, you know, is this something that will be of interest to our clients? And, you know, we felt very strongly that yes, you know, everyone should be concerned about their brand and their brand performance, especially during this time of crises with the coronavirus and other things in our current environment. So I'm sure we can all name brands that we are loyal to, or strong brands that everyone's aware of. But how does your own brand perform? What do you know about if it's working for your company or not? So whether you're a small business with a single location like Apex or a global enterprise, your brand matters. Every aspect of your company says something about who you are and what you have to offer. Branding is important for every company to set itself apart from the competition and define its mission for both customers and employees. So we're going to talk about that employee impact as well today. Consistent and strong branding benefits you in several ways. First, your brand sets the impression with your customers. It conveys your values, what you stand for, why you do what you do, and as a result, that leads to strong customer bonds. From the employee perspective, when employees are proud of the company that they work for, they spread the word. A good employee brand turns employees into advocates, which drives your internal culture. With a clear message and personality, branding makes it easier to establish marketing materials used by sales and advertising. And then the more desirable your brand, the more people are willing to pay. As I'm sure we've all experienced with our kids wanting the latest and greatest Nike or other big brand name. Your brand can help create customer advocates. Loyal customers will share their experience and drive more customers to your brand. So what does this have to do with a crisis? So first, referencing a 2019 Glassdoor survey of over 5,000 adults in US and Europe, 56% prioritized workplace culture over salary. That got as high as 65% among American millennials. So an ever increasing value of company culture. So I mentioned on the previous slide, employer branding is the means by which brands align their values with their employees' own values and workplace experiences. So in that same survey, 73% of workers would not apply to a company that didn't share their values. And that is expected to be even higher during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. COVID has also impacted how companies do business, forcing us all to adapt to a completely digital environment. The good news on one hand is that most people are home and they're online and they're paying more attention to digital mediums. So it's a prime time for brands to adjust to a new way of doing business online. Now more than ever, companies are presenting solutions digitally, substituting in-person events with webinars, virtual tours, and video calls. So it's a great time to engage people through social media, case studies, blogs. They're seeking escapism, entertainment, and information. So now is the time to capture that audience. Your brand needs to remain strong, especially with this immense growth in digital users. If you're engaging with employees, prospective employees, or customers through any of the Microsoft 365 services, Teams live events like we are here today, Teams meetings, SharePoint portals, even your emails, then you have an opportunity to ensure consistency in representation of your brand through each of these mediums. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nick to show you how we accomplish this at Apex.
Thank you, Jamie. I'm really excited to be here today and share a few examples of some of our key touch points, as well as some of the thoughts behind our design and how we've incorporated our brand in Microsoft 365. We've used the mediums available to increase brand impressions, brand recognition, as well as immerse our employees in our company culture. And all this can be done from Microsoft. Attention to detail is important to us, and we showcase these when we brand our customer-facing touch points, including those in Office 365, room systems, custom Microsoft Teams backgrounds. We engage and bring our team together by branding internal facing touch points such as Office 365, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, and Power BI. Next, I'm happy to share some examples of branding we have done that wow our customers and create inclusion and camaraderie with Microsoft 365. One area our marketing team focused on was the content facing our customers. We needed to meet with our customers remotely and still share our brand experience with them. We created custom Teams backgrounds for our use in live events and internal and external communications that provide an experience that's much different than using the preset background filters. People are the important part of our business, and we use the digital spaces that are available to provide the same experience to them online as we do in our office. We look to our brand style guide to make informed decisions to carry our color palette through Office 365, Microsoft 365, Power BI, and SharePoint. Let's take a moment and look at our room system artwork for internal meeting spaces. Using this space to bring the team together, we created a custom background that displays employee photos, hides an Easter egg, and reinforces one of our brand promises, we bring the team, reinforcing our commitment to each other visually. Additionally, I'd like to point out, if you look at the placement of the phone, we created a guide and positioned that phone so that when the phone background is uploaded, the clock portion of the UI lays over top of the phone, making the time appear on the phone screen. You can get really creative within the spaces available in Microsoft. After rolling out our brand throughout the environment, we received positive feedback from our customers and our employees. Customers look for us, guidance to implement their own Microsoft 365 rollout, and employees made use of the branded teams backgrounds for internal and external communications. Employees gave positive feedback after the deployment of the room system artwork and really enjoyed the experience in the internal meeting space. Next, I'm going to take a moment to discuss some tips and tricks that our team uses to produce our content. Here are some useful tips and tricks for you to consider. You can use what's available to drive company culture. A great example of this is our use of the custom Teams room system background to reinforce our core values and highlight all the members of our team. You should start where you can make the greatest impact. This might be high traffic areas, or you can prioritize internal touch points or external facing content. You have to make the decision what's best for your deployment. Create or download a guide for the user interface elements. This can help ensure that when you upload your design, no important details are hidden underneath the UI. It's important to also develop rules, sizes, and build repeatable and scalable templates that will overall help you reduce the development time and effort that goes into these projects. And it's important to design for your audience's screen size. Make sure your elements are sized appropriately to display properly across a variety of different devices. You can think about mobile, tablets, desktop, and the many different screen sizes that the computers come in. You should also verify how it appears in multiple different browsers. We also field a lot of questions about what type of files should be uploaded, and you can consider these best practices for file types. JPEGs display best for photo-based images, while PNGs work best for graphics or artwork, which includes moderate to full text. When creating branded themes inside Office 365, first, focus on a company-wide theme. This will improve design efficiency, helping you develop branded content quickly. Then the theme is available throughout the Office 365 product line. Products such as Excel, PowerPoint, and Microsoft Word all share a common theme and styles. If you have branded departments or product lines, you can also create additional themes that users can switch to that will help them save build time. And this will help ensure your organization-wide, all your team members have access to the correct colors, typefaces, and styles to ensure your branded content is delivered the way it's intended to. Create repetition for consistent branding. Consistency is how you use your color, size, placement. They're all key to moving viewers' attention throughout your content the way that you intend them to. It's important that we use branding to drive the conversations we want to have with our customers. Now I'll hand it back to Jamie to further discuss Apex Digital Solutions' approach.
Great, thank you, Nick. So depending on the size of your team and the experience within your team, there's a lot of information you can find in Microsoft documents, as well as different chat rooms and knowledge bases on the technical side of configuring the themes and customization of your branding across the Microsoft 365 suite. In addition, if you're unable to prioritize that for your own team, or your team is very small and you need some assistance, Apex has customized branding and design for SharePoint Online, Teams Live events, room systems, and Teams backgrounds. Our approach is similar to many of our professional services engagements if you've worked with us before. We generally start with the discovery. So in this case, we're going to do a discovery of your current brand, namely the brand and style guide. And if you don't have one, that's another area we could certainly assist with. But we want to take inventory of your current branding through the web, social, and other print and digital assets. Obviously, we've said it, consistency is really important. So anything that we propose throughout the M365 branding, we want it to be consistent with the elements that you have today. We can also offer some feedback and suggestions based on best practices as it relates to those items. We are also going to spend some time doing competitive research to ensure that your brand is differentiated and will stand out. From there, we create a few recommended themes or layouts. Nick also mentioned guides. That's another key element that we can provide to ensure that depending on the specific platform or solution, that we've got a repeatable guide and themes for you to use. We're typically doing 2 rounds of edits and reviews before we deliver you a finalized approved product ready to be rolled out across your organization. So that concludes our presentation for today. We're now going to check in with our moderator, Michael, on any questions from the Q&A panel that have not been addressed. Michael.
Hi. Yeah, no, we don't have haven't received any questions that have to be addressed for this portion. If anyone does have any, though, feel free to put them in now. But yeah, other than that, we don't have anything at the moment.
All right. So another reminder, we again are going to post this recording. We do appreciate your feedback and we hope that you found today's information valuable. We will send out a short survey following today's event and we appreciate your response so we can continue to grow and deliver value. I'll do one more check-in with Michael on Q&A.
Nope, nothing.
All right. Well, you can always reach out to us at hello@apexdigital.com. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your day.